Welcome back, collectors, history lovers, and the valued CoinAgeEra. Today, we begin a powerful and detailed journey into a coin that almost everyone has seen, yet very few have truly understood. A coin that quietly passed through millions of hands, traveled through decades of change, and witnessed America moving from the past into the modern world. We are talking about the 1985 Libriquan dime, a small coin with an extraordinary story. At first glance, many people dismiss the dime as insignificant. After all, it is only 10 cents. It buys almost nothing today, and it is often ignored or forgotten in pockets, drawers, and jars. But history does not measure importance by size or face value. History measures importance by meaning, impact, and legacy. And when you look closely, the dime becomes one of the most meaningful coins in American history. Truly understanding a Libriquan dime, we must first understand the world that created it. The United States in the early 1980s was a nation, standing at a crossroads. The Cold War was still shaping global politics. Technology was advancing rapidly, and American society was transitioning toward a more modern and global future. Economically, the country was recovering from inflation and uncertainty, while culturally, people were searching for stability, identity, and direction. During such times, symbols become extremely important. Nations rely on familiar images to remind people of shared values and common history. Coins, which pass daily through the hands of citizens, play a powerful role in carrying these symbols. The dime, especially one featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt, became a quiet reminder of leadership, resilience, and hope. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was not an ordinary president. He was the 32nd president of the United States and one of the most influential leaders in American history. He led the nation through the Great Depression, a period when millions of Americans lost jobs, savings, and hope. Later, he guided the country through World War II, one of the most challenging times the world had ever seen. Roosevelt served for terms as president, something that has never been repeated, showing how deeply the people trusted his leadership. Despite suffering from polio, which left him partially paralyzed, Roosevelt never allowed his physical condition to define him. Instead, he became a symbol of courage and determination. He believed strongly in action, compassion, and responsibility toward the people. His leadership style connected deeply with ordinary Americans, and his voice became a source of reassurance during times of fear and uncertainty. Roosevelt also had a strong connection to public health through the March of Dimes, an organization created to fight polio and support medical research. Millions of Americans contributed small amounts, often just a dime, to help fight the disease. Because of this connection, the dime became the perfect tribute to Roosevelt after his death in 1945. It represented unity, contribution, and collective effort. In 1946, the Roosevelt dime was officially introduced, replacing the Mercury dime. Over the decades, it became one of the most familiar coins in American currency. By the time 1985 arrived, the Roosevelt dime was no longer new, but it had become a trusted symbol, quietly carrying the values Roosevelt stood for into a new generation. The design of the 1985 Liberty One dime may appear simple, but simplicity does not mean a lack of meaning. On the obverse, or front side, we see Roosevelt's portrait facing left. His expression is calm, thoughtful, and firm, representing wisdom, strength, and responsibility. The word liberty appears clearly, reminding viewers of the core value of the nation. The motto "In God We Trust" reflects America's moral foundation, while the year 1985 marks the coin's place in history. On the reverse side, the design becomes deeply symbolic. At the center stands a torch, representing liberty, enlightenment, and freedom. The torch tells a silent message that freedom must be protected, carried forward, and never allowed to fade. It connects modern America to ancient ideals, reminding citizens that liberty is not automatic. It is a responsibility. Beside the torch, we see two branches. The olive branch symbolizes peace, while the oak branch represents strength and endurance. Together, they deliver a powerful national message. A strong nation must seek peace, but it must also be prepared to defend its values. This balance between peace and strength defines much of American identity, and it is beautifully captured on this small coin. By 1985, the dime was made using a copper-nickel-clad composition, a change that reflected modern economic realities. While earlier dimes were made of silver, rising silver prices made that impractical. This change also marks the transition of American coinage from precious metal to practical durability, reflecting a modern, industrial economy. Yet, despite being produced in large numbers, the 1985 Liberty One dime still holds significance for collectors today. Condition matters. Mint marks matter. Preservation matters. A well-preserved example tells a clearer story of its time, untouched by excessive circulation, quietly waiting to be rediscovered. This brings us to an important realization. Coins like the 1985 dime are not just collectibles for their rarity or value. They are historical documents. They tell us how a nation saw itself, what it honored, and what it hoped to pass on to future generations. As we move deeper into the story of the 1985 Liberty One dime, it becomes important to understand how this coin was actually produced and why its minting process matters to collectors today. Coins are not created randomly. Every detail, from metal composition to striking quality, reflects the economic conditions, technology, and priorities of the time. The 1985 dime is no exception, and its production reveals much about America in the mid-1980s. In 1985, the United States Mint was operating at a high level of efficiency. The demand for circulating coinage was strong, driven by population growth, commercial activity, and daily cash usage. Dimes were among the most frequently used coins in American life, making their consistent production essential. As a result, millions of 1985 dimes were struck to ensure smooth circulation. Across the country, the 1985 Liberty One dime was produced at two main mint facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while those produced in Denver are identified by a small d, mint mark on de dece. This small letter may seem insignificant to casual observers, but to collectors, it represents an important distinction in origin. Strike quality and availability. Philadelphia minted dimes were traditionally produced in large quantities and were widely circulated. These coins were designed primarily for everyday use, and as a result, many examples show signs of wear. Denver minted dimes, on the other hand, were often noted for slightly sharper strikes. As the Denver Mint was known for its consistent quality control during this period, for collectors. These subtle differences create opportunities to compare and study variations within the same year. The metal composition of the 1985 dime reflects the realities of modern American coinage. By Jimmy, silver had long been removed from circulating dimes due to rising metal prices. Instead, the dime was made from a copper core clad with layers of nickel, creating a durable and cost-effective coin. This composition allowed the dime to withstand heavy circulation while maintaining a bright, silver-like appearance that people were familiar with, although some collectors initially felt nostalgic for silver coinage. The copper-nickel-clad dime represents an important chapter in U.S. monetary history. It marks the shift from precious metal-based currency to a system focused on practicality, efficiency, and long-term stability. The 1985 dime is part of this modern era, making it an essential piece for understanding how American coinage evolved. Another crucial aspect of the 1985 Liberty One dime is strike quality. Because dimes are small and thin, they require precise pressure during minting to bring out fine details, especially in Roosevelt's hair, facial features, and the torch on the reverse. In many circulated examples, these details become worn quickly. However, well-struck coins, particularly those preserved in higher grades, display sharp lines and clear design elements that dramatically increase collector interest. Collectors pay close attention to the condition of the coin, often referred to as its grade. Most 1985 dimes found today are in circulated condition, showing wear on high points such as Roosevelt's cheek and jawline. However, uncirculated examples, coins that never entered general circulation, still exist. These coins often come from mint sets or careful preservation and can display impressive luster and detail even decades later. The United States Mint also produced official mint sets in 1985, which included uncirculated examples of all denominations struck that year. These sets were catered to collectors and history enthusiasts who wanted pristine examples directly from the mint dimes from these sets are often better preserved and are highly valued for their clean surfaces and original shine. Interestingly, while the 1985 dime is not considered rare in terms of mintage numbers, rarity in coin collecting is not always about how many were made. It is about how many survived in excellent condition. This is where the 1985 Liberty One dime begins to stand out. Finding a fully struck, uncirculated example with minimal marks can be surprisingly challenging, especially as time continues to pass. Collectors also examine these coins for errors and varieties, which can significantly increase value and interest. Minor minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double details, or planchet issues, occasionally appear. While these errors are not common, they add an exciting dimension to collecting 1985 dimes, reminding us that even modern minting processes are not completely perfect. Beyond technical details, the 1985 Liberty One dime also played a meaningful role in everyday American life. It was used to pay for phone calls, parking meters, newspapers, and small daily purchases. For many Americans, this coin was part of routine experiences, silently witnessing countless personal moments of achievement. These everyday interactions transformed the dime into a quiet cultural artifact. This everyday usage is what gives the 1985 dime its emotional value. It connects personal memories with national history. When collectors hold this coin today, they are not just holding metal. They are holding a piece of lived experience from the mid-1980s, a time when America was balancing tradition with rapid modernization. As we continue this historical journey, it is time to explore one of the most important aspects of any coin's story: value. When people hear the word value, they often think only in terms of money. But in numismatics, value goes far beyond price. It includes historical importance, condition, demand, and emotional connection. The 1985 Liberty I dime is a perfect example of how a common coin can still hold meaningful value for collectors. At face value, the 1985 dime is worth exactly 10 cents. In everyday circulation, it performs the same function it did decades ago. However, in the world of coin collecting, the story is very different. Collectors evaluate coins based on grade, which refers to the coin's physical condition. Even a modern coin like the 1985 dime can vary greatly in value depending on how well it has been preserved. Most 1985 Liberty I dimes found today are in circulated condition. These coins show visible signs of wear, especially on high points such as Franklin D. Roosevelt's cheek, jawline, and hair. On the reverse, the torch and branches often lose sharp detail due to constant handling. While circulated examples are common and typically worth face value, they still serve an important purpose for beginners and educational collections. Moving one level higher, we find coins classified as about uncirculated O. These dimes show very light wear, often only visible under magnification. The major design elements remain strong, and the coin may still display some original mint luster. AU examples are far less common than heavily circulated ones and are often the entry point for collectors seeking quality without high cost. The most desirable category for many collectors is mint state MS. Mint state coins are those that never entered circulation and show no wear from use. Instead, any marks present come from the minting process itself, such as contact with other coins during storage and transportation. A mint state 1985 dime can display bright luster, sharp details, and strong eye appeal. Within the mint state category, grading becomes even more precise. Grades range from MS60 to MS70, with higher numbers indicating better condition. A 1985 Liberty I dime graded MS65 or higher can be surprisingly difficult to find, especially with clean surfaces and strong strikes. These higher-grade examples are where collector interest and premiums begin to rise. Professional grading services play a major role in establishing trust and value in the coin market. When a 1985 dime is certified by a recognized grading company, it receives an official grade and protective holder. This process helps collectors confidently buy, sell, and trade coins, knowing that condition has been evaluated objectively. For modern coins, certification is especially important when aiming for top-tier grades. Another factor that influences value is eye appeal. Two coins with the same technical grade can look very different. Factors such as luster, toning, and strike quality all affect how attractive a coin appears. Some 1985 dimes develop subtle natural toning over time, creating unique color patterns that collectors find appealing. These visual qualities add personality and individuality to an otherwise common coin. Beyond standard examples, error coins and varieties add an exciting layer to collecting the 1985 Liberty One dime. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during production, such as misaligned dies, improper planchenical issues, while major errors are rare. Even minor anomalies can attract significant attention from specialists and enthusiasts. Commonly searched for errors include off-center strikes, weak strikes, and double details. While not every unusual mark is a true mint error, confirmed errors can increase both interest and value. These coins remind collectors that even in a modern, highly controlled minting environment, imperfections still occur. Demand also plays a key role in determining value. The Roosevelt dime series is widely collected, and many collectors aim to complete full daytime mint sets. The 1985 dime is an essential part of these sets, ensuring steady demand. While it may not be a key date, its presence is necessary for completeness, giving it lasting relevance. It is also important to understand that collector value can change over time. As years pass, fewer high-quality examples remain available. Coins that were once overlooked may gain attention as collectors become more selective and condition-focused. This gradual shift can increase appreciation for well-preserved 1985 dime special. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of value is educational value. The 1985 Liberty One dime serves as an excellent teaching tool for understanding modern U.S. coinage, grading standards, and historical continuity. For new collectors, it offers an accessible entry point into the hobby. For experienced collectors, it provides an opportunity to study quality, variation, and preservation. Ultimately, the value of the 1985 Liberty One dime lies in its balance between availability and meaning. It is common enough to be familiar, yet rich enough in history to be respected. It teaches collectors that every coin, no matter how ordinary it may seem, has a story worth telling. As we reach the final chapter of this journey, it becomes clear that the 1985 Liberty One dime is far more than a simple piece of change. This small coin quietly connects leadership, national values, daily life, and modern coinage into one continuous story. By understanding its design, production, circulation, and collector significance, we can now see the dime for what it truly is, a historical witness to its time. In the mid-1980s, American life was changing rapidly. Technology was beginning to reshape communication, businesses were expanding, and society was moving toward a faster, more connected future. Yet, in the middle of all this change, coins like the dime remained constant. Every time someone used a 1985 dime to make a phone call, pay a meter, or complete a purchase, they unknowingly carried a symbol of stability and tradition. The coin served as a quiet reminder that progress does not erase history. It builds upon it. The Roosevelt portrait on the dime continued to remind Americans of leadership during crisis. Franklin D. Roosevelt's legacy of courage, resilience, and service remained relevant decades after his presidency. His presence on the coin was not about politics, but about values, perseverance in difficult times, belief in collective effort, and responsibility toward future generations. These ideals did not fade with time. They traveled forward with every coin in circulation. The reverse design further strengthened this message. The torch of liberty symbolized enlightenment and freedom, reminding citizens that liberty must be protected and passed on. The olive branch represented peace, while the oak branch stood for strength and endurance. Together, these symbols told a complete story of balance. A nation strong enough to defend itself, yet wise enough to seek peace. This symbolism made the dime more than currency. It made it a national statement in metal form. From a numismatic perspective, the 1985 Liberty One dime represents the maturity of modern U.S. coinage. Its copper-nickel clad composition reflects economic practicality, durability, and mass circulation. It marks an era when American coins were designed to serve everyday needs while still carrying deep meaning. Though millions were minted, only a limited number have survived in truly excellent condition, making preservation and care essential for collectors. For collectors, the 1985 dime offers lessons beyond rarity and price. It teaches the importance of condition, grading, and historical context. It shows how even common coins can become meaningful when viewed through the lens of history, whether found in circulation, preserved in mint sets, or professionally graded. Each example tells a slightly different version of the same story. Most importantly, the 1985 Liberty One dime reminds us that history is not only found in museums or rare artifacts. History lives in everyday objects, in the coins that pass from hand to hand, generation to generation. This dime witnessed daily American life in the 1980s and continues to exist today as a bridge between past and present. So when you look at a 1985 dime now, you no longer see just 10 cents. You see leadership, national identity, cultural continuity, and the quiet power of everyday history. This is why such coins deserve attention, respect, and understanding. This brings our complete history of the 1985 Liberty One dime to a close. From its design and symbolism to its production, circulation, and collector value, every aspect of this coin now stands clear. Its story is complete, not because it has ended, but because it continues through those who study, collect, and appreciate it.